Hi guys, my name is G. I'm an accountant, founder of Healthy Financials. So we are doing this series about for health practitioners, how for them to pay less taxes, know more or less about the healthcare industry, so on and so forth. So right now we're doing our second part, which is how to pay less taxes. So that series that we're doing, it's about three sections. The first one is how do you get more business if you're a health practitioner. The second one, which we're doing now, is how do you pay less taxes if you're a health practitioner. And then the third part is being connected, staying connected, having the information. So let's dive into this. So how do you pay less taxes? I've been doing this for more than 10 years now, and there are dozens of ways for you to actually to pay less taxes. And I need to give you some type of maybe warning, because everybody's different. Everybody's case is different. So the deductions and credit that might apply to me might not apply to John, or might not apply to somebody else. So you definitely need to sit down with an accountant to know what is your situation, and then this way you can actually maximize the tax code in order for you to pay less taxes. So an example is an employee and then a self-employed person have different ways about paying less taxes, about saving money, less tax liability. So definitely you need to sit down, with an accountant. Definitely you can call me, or if you have an accountant, you can call your accountant trying to find out exactly what are the different ways for you to actually to pay less taxes. Now I'll give you like three example. Like three example is education. If you go to a college, or if you go to a university, you get to claim some credit for that. The second one is if you have supporting somebody, whether you have a child or you have a parent that's depending on you, you can claim them as a dependent. You save some money in there too. And then a third one is like residential credit, energy credit. So for instance, if you purchase a AC that's very efficient, that's star efficient, 5-star efficient, however you want to call it, basically that helps in terms of burning less energy, you get a credit for that. So there's a lot of them. There is a lot of different credit. I just gave you three of them. But the purpose of this video, as a tax professional and enrolled agent, where do I think like there's the maximum benefit? So people won't really want to know where are the advantages, because yes, those credits are good and they do provide you some good tax advantage. But if you want to know where personally, in my opinion, I think that you can get the most tax benefit, I'm gonna give you about three different ways to actually to pay less taxes. And this is just my personal opinion. I think a broader number of people will fit in those categories, but that doesn't mean it's gonna apply for everyone. Again, I'll repeat it again and again. You need to sit down with an accountant to see exactly what is your tax situation. So let's start with the first one. I think the tax code really give you a good benefit when it comes to having a retirement account. And there are several of them. But the advantage about the retirement account is the fact that the government, depending on what type of retirement do you have, it allows you to put money on the side for retirement purposes. For instance, when you reach the age of 59, it's either you put money into an account without paying taxes on that money, or you actually you pay taxes on that money, but when you go to withdraw it, you don't pay any taxes. So there's several different retirement accounts, but if you ask me, one of the biggest way to actually to save some money is having a retirement account. And each person is different. If you're an employee, is different. If you're an employer, is different. If you're a self-employed, there are different ways. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna list a couple of them, like an IRA account, a Roth IRA, a 401k, 403b, a simple IRA, a 457 plan, a 49 plan, a SEP plan. All of them basically they are different. and it would take me literally, hours to talk about them individually. But I will tell you this though, just to trigger your mind a little bit about the advantages. Like for instance, if you have a SEP account, okay, a simplified employee pension plan, basically you can put aside about 54,000. That's, for me, that's an amazing way to actually to save some money when it comes to taxes. Now, not everybody will be able to apply for it. You have to find out, okay, do I fit into that category? Or for instance, if you have like a 401k, if you work for a company that does offer 401k, I think this year you can get up to 18,000. Every year it differs, and it tends to grow. Every year it tends to add more. Previously it was probably 17 or 16. They keep on adding to it. Or if you have for instance, a simple IRA, you can put aside about 12,500. So I'm just giving you those big amounts because I think they are significant. In order to actually to trigger your mind, and it's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sit down with an accountant, or in order for me to discuss what are my different options, right? In terms of saving money, in terms of taxes. So I think that's the number one part, is a retirement account. Get involved with an accountant, with an enroll agent, a CPA, or an attorney, or a professional tax preparer. That to actually get a plan to jump on that train. About getting a retirement account. Number two, so how do you pay less taxes? So if you're a healthcare practitioner, the second way I think that you can save taxes, that I see that, because I have several clients in that category, is employee business expenses. So one of the things that we have to keep in mind, we have to define, an employee and an independent contractor. So an employee is technically somebody that's receiving a W-2, okay, for in general. Somebody that's independent or self-employed, they either receive a 1099, or basically they receive their income from another source. So you have to know where you're at. It's either an employee, or you're self-employed, you're an independent contractor. But if you are an employee, so I'm talking about, people that are employees, there are certain expenses that basically that you don't get paid on your job for them, and if you use them for your work, you're entitled to claim those expenses. So an example is, if you're using your phone, if you're using your vehicle, if you're taking classes, for to get more skills, some meals, uniform, that you put on you, your car depreciation, equipment. If you are actually using any of those items for work purposes, and then you're actually not getting reimbursed for them, make sure whenever you're going to do your taxes to tell them, to your accountant, hey, you know what, for instance, I work from home. I do get a W-2, but I work from home, or I purchase a special computer to actually to work from home for the work, and I didn't get paid for it. So this is something that you can claim into your taxes. Again, I'm talking in a very broad way. It is very important for you to sit down with an accountant and then just ask the questions to see what you're eligible for, because some of them, they do have some limitation. It's not like you're gonna purchase, like, I don't know, $100,000 car, and then everything will be deductible. No, there are some limitations about how much deduction that you can take. So that's the second one that I see, as a tax professional, that you can save some money, is some employee business expense, unreimbursed expense. So you do incur those expenses, but your employer doesn't necessarily, well, not necessarily, doesn't give you back the money. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the third part, if you are self-employed, or you have a home-based business, I think I said it before, the way that the tax system is geared is really geared towards small businesses. Very encouraging to have small businesses, whether you're starting small. Some of the big companies, they started in a garage. But I would with confidence say this, that the tax system really gives the advantage about, for small business owners. Now, that being said, owning a business, has its own, you know, positive and then negative to it, and I think, For instance, I read some statistics. A lot of businesses that start, eventually after a couple of years, they don't last. So business is very tough. But the what I'm trying to say is the way that the tax code is written, it's really written in such a way to give that entrepreneurship spirit, right? So basically you can go ahead and then, trying to start something, hiring people, put people, to work, so on and so forth. So if you are either self-employed or basically you have a company, um, the tax code is can really help you out save money. And what do I mean by that? I'm gonna use a simple example because I have several clients that fit into this criteria. For instance, I have a couple of nurses where they do work for an agency, and then when they go home they have to take some notes. And what it is when they are going home to take some notes, it's still part of the work. And some of them, they receive a W-2. Some of them are receiving 1099. Now I'm talking specifically somebody that's independent that's receiving a 1099. So if you were independent and then you are receiving a 1099, for instance, some expenses that you incur at your house will be deductible. So we are talking about utilities, the internet, or office supplies. All of those, just because that you're independent, will become deductible. And then again, there are different ways to go and claim those expenses. You can have them as a small business, as a corporation, as a partnership. It really varies, about when you're self-employed and when you have your own business. So it's very important for you to actually to sit down with an accountant to know the different vehicles that you have in order for you to actually to save some money in taxes. Because you can have, for instance, an S corporation, or you can have an LLC. That's a very big debate topic right there. But those are two different vehicles that helps, when it comes to taxes. Now you have to know which one is better for you. So that being said, consult an accountant to know exactly where do you fit in that criteria in order for you to actually to save money on taxes. So those are as a tax professionals, those are really three ways I see that you can save some money in taxes. So the first one is having a retirement. The second one is employee business expenses. So if you're an employee and you incur some expenses you didn't get reimbursed for, you have to make sure that you tell that to your accountant. And then third of all, if you're self-employed and then you're self-employed and basically you have your own business, there are many ways for you to save money on taxes. So that concludes for the second part of our series, which is Pay Less Taxes. Again, my name is G from Healthy Financials. I'm an accountant, so if you're looking for help for your taxes, feel free to contact me. Again, our contact information is in our website, healthyfinancials.com. Thank you.